It's just pure conjecture. If you have an idea or if you have a topic to discuss and they don't like it, well, you can be kicked off. They've opened Pandora's box. Once you cross that dotted line, you can't close the box. Can Poland set a blueprint that then Ms. Vestager could then help to bring to the rest of the EU? And could hopefully the United States pick up on this? Poland is coming to rescue all of us from the insanity of tech censorship. Maybe they watch the show. I don't know. But check this out. The Justice Minister announces online freedom of speech bill. Not even going to try to pronounce this guy's name, but he announced a legal initiative on Thursday aimed at enabling internet users to file complaints against the removal of online posts, as well as the creation of a special court of freedom for freedom of speech. It's exactly what we've been talking about. The aim of the bill was to give internet users the feeling that their rights are protected and that their posts cannot be arbitrarily removed from online platforms. When we say platform monopolies take advantage of producers, of, in this case, creators or the suppliers or the producers on content platforms, this is exactly what you're talking about, right? If I want to post where COVID came from, or are there aliens and other life out there, and if I offend the WHO or the UN, well, YouTube could take us down, right? And you have no recourse. You can't do anything. And so what this is doing is saying, well, these platforms need to abide by the same rules as free speech. Well, let me read some more of it, okay? The full name of the bill is the Law on Freedom of Expressing One's Own Views and Searching and Disseminating Information on the Internet. Under its provisions, social media services will not be allowed to remove content or block accounts if the content on them does not break Polish law, right? So if it's harmful, you're harassing someone, you're making a threat of violence, right? These kinds of things, right? Versus now, that's what initially we were, the content platforms were saying that's what they were taking down, that kind of hate speech, abusive, harassing content. Now it's just pure conjecture. If you have an idea or if you have a topic to discuss and they don't like it, well, you can be kicked off. In the event of a removal or blockage, a complaint can be sent to the platform, which will have 24 hours to consider it. Within 48 hours of the decision, the user will be able to file a petition to the court for the return of access. The court will consider complaints within 7 days of receipt, and the entire process is to be electronic. Here's a quote from this Minister of Justice. Often, the victims of tendencies for ideological censorship are also representative of various groups operating in Poland whose content is removed or blocked just because they express views and refer to values that are unacceptable from the point of the views of communities. We've talked a lot on the show about religious leaders, both Christian and Muslim leaders, being censored quite aggressively by content platforms, with an ever stronger influence on the functioning of social media. We realize that it is not an easy topic. We realize that on the internet, there should be a sphere of guarantees for everybody who feels slandered, a sphere of limitation of various content which may carry with it a negative impact on the sphere of other people's freedom. But we would like to propose such tools that will enable both one side and the other to call for the decision of a body that will be able to adjudicate whether content appearing on such and such a social media account really violates personal rights, whether it can be eliminated or whether there is censorship, right? So freedom of speech, right? Let's say you're posting content that infringes upon IP. Okay, you got to take that down. So you're harassing, you're attacking, you're abusive, you're going after someone, you're targeting, you're doxing, you're putting someone's personal information up. Okay, you got to take that down. There's precedent for this, right? Freedom of speech. We've talked about this. Can you yell fire in a movie theater? Well, if you can go to a movie theater these days, well, no, you can't yell fire if there's no fire. You can get arrested for that, or there's some kind of penalty, right? We have precedent for this, and now these content platforms have decided to make up their own rules, and they've opened Pandora's box. Once you cross that dotted line, how do you ever put the box back together? You can't close the box, and they should have been smarter about this. If a special court rules in favor of the plaintiff and the internet service does not obey the ruling, it can subject the internet service to a fine of up to basically $2 million. So if they say, hey, you kicked Alex off, you got to give Alex back his account. They don't do it, then YouTube can be fined $2 million. I think it's great. The EU, Ms. Vestager, has been hinting that they are looking at putting rules and guidance in, which actually would be very similar to this, but I think Poland's kind of come out ahead of that. Ms. Vestager is, taking some time to figure out how to put this forth and What she's doing would be kind of for the block, for all of the EU. But it's really great to see certain countries like Poland. It's not exactly like a state in the United States, but you can kind of think of them somewhat that way, right? Where a lot of things that happen at the federal level in the United States first are kind of proven out at the state level. And then the federal government can kind of more slowly adopt what is tried and iterated a little bit more quickly at the state level. So can Poland, try to lead the charge here and really kind of set a blueprint that then Ms. Vestager could then help to bring to the rest of the EU, and could hopefully the United States pick up on this. This is really one of the probably two biggest challenges that we're seeing with content platforms. Is it's a 1-2 punch, right? At one end of the spectrum, it's tech censorship. So it's rules and standards, as we talk about in the book. It's, how do you curate access and curate usage? It's a tech censorship topic. At the other end of the spectrum, and we covered both of these things with Tim Kendall, is the matchmaking side of the equation, right? And what do you do from the algorithms and the algos that are actually designed to push fake information and incendiary triggering information because it gets the platform's better engagement stats. This certainly helps with the former, not so much the latter, because if anything now, because you have less of an ability to censor creators, presumably you would have more disinformation, more fake information, right? It's going to be harder to censor people with these rules. And then interestingly, what we've seen in Australia is they're trying to force Google and Facebook to pay the media companies, which could be another interesting way to tackle this. The 230 thing, I don't know. We'll see if Trump stays strong on striking down 230, but there's a lot of implications that come with just a wholesale obliteration of 230. The big challenge for the media companies to hold on to whatever shrapnel iota of self-respect that they still have, which is pretty much non-existent these days, is they just have a broken business model thanks to Facebook and Google. And so if Facebook and Google are forced to pay them money, is some of their journalistic standards restored? I don't know. Maybe it's too far gone. But this, at least, is a step in the right direction. There's no silver bullet to this, clearly. But I love to see what Poland is doing here. Hi, this is Alex from Winner Take All. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the content. Feel free to leave a comment, ask us questions, and definitely make sure to join us on our next live stream.